All right, so the master plan in a nutshell is to use the automatic install versus manual install process that we already have to auto-load things. So what we do is in postinstall.d, which is the only time we can reliably tell what the latest kernel installed is, we mark your currently running kernel and your latest installed kernel as manually installed, and we mark everything else as automatically installed. So the next time you run update manager, the next time you run get auto remove, it auto removes everything that you didn't need. That's it in a nutshell. I mean, it's like one sentence. It's a little bit more work because I got to fix apt to hard code that, but it's not effort.
So the only tunable with this scheme is how many kernels you'll be born.
Yeah, we can certainly tune in that post-install.d snippet how many you want. So
Read that from the configuration file.
sure. Well,
The kernel
it is a
post-inst-
conf file anyway because it's in etc. So sure.
Yeah, but I mean, just document where, like, if I want 5 kernels instead of the default 2 or whatever.
Why would you want that? But yes, we can do that.
But the beautiful thing about that is it becomes somebody else's choice, and we can make a sensible choice for the average desktop
Exactly.
of 2. And server people could put 4 on because they're paranoid, and everybody else can be happy.
Right, I mean that more as protection for people complaining about whatever magic number we pick is not going to
Sure.
be someone.
And our magic number is probably the correct one, but yes, they can pick whatever they want.
So what is your magic number?
To me, what's obvious is the currently running kernel, because we kind of think that works.
Yep.
And the latest installed, because that's probably the one you want.
Yeah, as a paranoid kernel engineer, I would say I want the last 3 plus the currently running kernel if it's not one of those.
Sure. But, well, the currently running is always going to be in the set.
Right, but I wouldn't need 4 because it was one of those 3.
Yes.
You know what I mean, right?
But what happens actually when you have a third one? I mean, there were 2 actually marked as manually installed, then you get the third one, you unmark the...
We'll unmark the in-between.
Yeah, well, how do you know that that one was marked as manual? I mean, somebody, that was a third party kernel that somebody just installed with the package, and he needs that.
He
I
doesn't
don't
have
know
a
for
way
sure.
of doing that now.
I can actually, I can record state as to which ones I marked as manually installed.
Okay.
And we already saved very similar state to that for generating in-route pesos, so it's probably called things some code. And yeah, that's a good point that I had thought about previously and forgotten about, so thank you for bringing it up. And I'd like a note about that. So yes, if someone actually manually installs something, we want to take them at their word for that they actually want to.
Is it the same policy, or what's the policy around local flavors? Do you want desktop and server kernel? System.
We do custom kernel.
Multiple flavors in what sense? As in, if you've installed multiple flavors, if you've installed things manually, they're manually installed anyway.
Okay.
Right.
Apt-get installed. Like
If you apt-get install a meta package, then you're always forever going to be pulling in
Both.
both flavors anyway.
So you
And
keep
we'll
2 of
just,
each.
again, keep
You do
the currently running kernel and then the latest installed of whatever, and or however many you want.
Okay. So hypothetically, I'm running a server, or running the desktop, got a desktop, a generic kernel, I decided to install a server kernel, and I use the meta package Linux image server, Linux server, whatever. Okay.
Which on most systems is now also the same kernel as desktop, but let's pretend it's not.
Just pretend it's not. I'm running one of those 2. I'm going to keep the one I'm running, and then presumably the latest desktop and the latest server kernel. So it'll be 3 in that hypothetical.
Yes.
That would be
That
the
makes
sort of place
sense.
you probably want to say 5 or something like that yourself.
But yeah,
you
you
say
might want more, but-
You need to detect that it was you that marked the manual, but the default position is manual.
No,
Until-
default position is
Manual.
automatic because
No.
they're all dependencies of a meta package.
Oh, I see. So you say I
always-
install the meta package, the meta package becomes updated, the newest one comes in as auto-installed.
Yep.
As you install
Yes.
that, you'll mark the previous one, which was currently auto, to be manual to stop it disappearing,
Assuming that that's the one you're running.
or it's one in the set.
Yeah.
But if it's already manual, you won't have marked it, so it's fine. So we do have a transition where we move it from auto to manual as it drops below
Right.
the current
So
or
if-
latest. Or whatever.
Exactly. So
Okay.
if I move it from auto to manual, I need to record that
So that you
so
can
that I
undo
know
it.
that I can undo it. Whereas if someone else marks it manual, I just assume they wanted it.
Okay, that seems reasonable to me. I've made some notes on those statements. So basically, there's add-on to fix to allow kernels to be marked or to remove it all.
Yes.
And then there's someone in the kernel team probably to write a post inst, or you will. one of
We
them.
might drop that in from apt. I'm not sure who should own it. I mean, it's apt that owns this currently, that owns the currently half-broken functionality that at least is very safe.
Because you might drop in post inst for the kernel.
Well,
Oh, we
drop
do have an
in
entry.
post
let's see.
inst.d.
Post
Right.
inst.d, okay.
So yeah, I'm not sure who should own it per se, but I'll write it, and if we decide it should be shipped with the kernels, you can ship it with the kernels. If we decide it should be
If
shipped
it's
with
an
apt,
apt
I'll ship it
policy,
with
that
apt.
may actually make sense.
Yeah.
It makes simpler because it's only one apt package, you don't have to.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for apt to ship it.
Even if it belongs to us, it sounds like there's the right place for all the reasons he just said, or it should be in our meta package, but certainly not in our kernel package, because we can't have 4 of them. Okay. And I think that all makes, I mean, there's a potential, the only reason that we should probably put an action down on desktop so they can be bothered to turn up, to make them do a nice shiny interface to change the number, just because that's far more work than we've got to do.
I see no reason.
And I want to
have
sign them
it.
up. I want to sign them up to load to work while they're not here yet.
Well, there is that. Just assign every member of the desktop team some random task.
All I'm asking for that, from my perspective, document where to.
And how.
Yep.
And make it something. Oh,
The other thing that I thought would be hugely cool, but I don't know that I care deeply, is like on the desktop side, this all magically works because Update Manager processes auto removes.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. On the server side, I was thinking, well, on the console side, never mind, it didn't have anything to do with servers, but I was thinking we could update the LTD to actually tell you not just about kernels, but in general that you have
Packages.
you have N packages marked for auto remove. Do something about it to it.
But I also think that that's actually a very desirable behavior because now we've told them which ones they shouldn't have, but they still get to think about it before they type the command that makes them go.
Yes, no, that's why I prefer it this way because you get to type apt get auto remove and look at it and go,
Yeah.
maybe
All my
not.
Out
kernels.
of curiosity, does apt-get auto-remove support globbing what you want to remove so you can manually auto-remove Linux and star?
No, auto remove removes everything that's marked for auto remove.
So there's no way to
you don't need arguments.
But you can't limit it.
But auto-remove, I think, has screwed me once or twice with
Because you don't.
removing Ubuntu desktop, desktop or something like that.
It should never do that because that should be manually installed.
Could have been one case. I read auto-remove very carefully when I do it, but now on my servers, I'd almost like a cron job or something to auto-remove. If it's only removing kernels, then, cron up a daily auto.
But actually, there are more this case. If you have actually used some kind of tool that has dependencies of some dev stuff, and the person is actually doing development, you remove the actual package that depended on the dev stuff, and it works for some time and thinks that his system is perfect because he's got all the dependencies, and then he sees that he's got unused packages, he has to remove them, and suddenly all his environment doesn't
Yeah,
work.
but he kind of did that to himself. Like, we should. I don't think we should run auto remove on a cron job, no. But
For this very
No.
reason.
for console people should be expected to read output, understand what it means, and do the right thing with
What
it.
about
not just
automatic upgrades? There is this apt mechanism, automatic upgrades. This doesn't do automatic.
It doesn't process auto remove.
So actually,
The only higher level user tool that processes auto remove automatically is Update Manager, which we consider to be a desirable desktop behavior.
yeah, because it has a user interface, and the user can say this and that. Yeah, that's perfect. But actually, what happens is if you have, if you're managing, we're managing the workstations. Yeah, we push all the upgrades automatically without the user saying yes, I want to install them. And after some time, we get like 20 to 30 kernels out there in boot. Boot gets full, and unless, with this scheme that it is possible to use apt-get auto remove, it would be possible, but we don't want to do this, enforce auto remove, because people might have some libraries that they wouldn't know what happened. They
Is
don't-
there any way to list which files are kernels that are installed that are marked for auto remove, but without running them?
Well, you just run auto remove and say no.
But is there any?
As a
That's not a
prompt.
scriptable way. No, from a scriptable way. Is there some incantation of app where I can say, show me all the packages in the states to be auto removed, and then grep for Linux image and then delete them by hand? I mean, it should be scriptable.
I don't know.
Because frankly, if you're already scripting your own install packages for desktops, you can script your own remove.
Yeah, that's the only thing that would stop me immediately from using your method as opposed to my method, because my method is only going to remove kernels, and I can do that safely and reliably in a
Sure,
job.
but I mean, auto remove has.
But the auto remove usually removes only things which were prerequisites for something.
Yeah.
And when something gets removed and prerequisite is not
Yeah.
removed, auto remove catches go.
Right.
Well, and that's
So
exactly.
But
the
how
case
carefully
for
do you
Or
read
you
auto
would have a
remove?
meta package which will depend on the kernel.
No, yes, well, we have packages that depend on the latest kernel. The only reason that auto remove doesn't currently remove kernels is because we blacklisted them from auto remove.
Got it.
If we hadn't done that,
You'd have exactly one kernel.
you'd have exactly one kernel, the latest one you install.
Probably not the one
Which
you
isn't really dangerous,
Unless
which is why we don't
people
do that.
install the version kernel package, right?
If you manually install a version kernel package, yeah, then it's marked manually installed.
Then it's not manually installed.
Yeah, and then we would never auto remove that.
So is there any, do you have a feeling of how complicated would it be to add a clubbing thing to auto remove, to like, without any options, it does everything, but if you give it a sort of,
Just like auto remove Linux.
yeah, so that you can say, I only want to process
I don't know,
the
that might
That's what I was asking about
That
blogging.
might actually work today, I've never tried.
That's what I was asking about blogging. If I
Yeah.
could, apt-get auto remove Linux star, I'll do that, gladly in an offline process.
Let's see if any of my machines have stuff auto remove, or if I take it.
Oh, has that been manually blocked right now?
Sorry, say
If
again.
I type today, in the current Ubuntu, if I type apt-get auto remove.
I simply can't hear you. It's the stupid thing right behind
Sorry,
me.
if I said apt-get auto remove Linux hyphen whatever, would it?
So we don't know.
No, actually, at the moment, if I understand that correctly, today it wouldn't work because everything Linux is blacklisted.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Even
test
if
it
it
with
works
something
on-
else. I don't know, give me something that depends on a bunch of crap that isn't good
So the current apt-get or special permission.
Unity. Yeah.
Something I can install on a server that
That's-
has dependencies.
Well, you know my favorite.
Well, these are my favorite.
Come across another line.
Fair, that's perfect. Got like 4 dependencies. All of which match the same regex, that's helpful. Whatever. So,
I mean, that sounds like the sort of thing we should file a bug form for. Suggested.
sure, we can make it fancier. I just want to see how fancy it is currently, because I've never tried actually giving auto arguments.
We've been freezing for days.
But that's
And
the other
today,
one. And then there's only one outlet for the XE.
it's in that room over there.
Looking at the source.
Yeah, as it turns out, giving auto remove arguments makes it think that you actually want to remove all the packages that match that. So that's bad idea.
Yeah.
It then treats it as a remove rather than an auto remove.
That's a very bizarre
No,
use case.
no, if you give auto remove arguments, it removes what you gave as arguments, and it removes all the prerequisites which are not used by anything else.
No. Oh, if you give it arguments, it treats those arguments as something you said you want to remove.
Yes.
So, yes.
That becomes the primary thing to remove, and auto
Yeah.
remove qualifies
But
that.
then applies auto remove after it's removed.
Yeah, after it's
Oh, okay.
removed. So
I suppose that's
I use
almost
it all the time.
that almost kind of feels sane, except for the part where it doesn't, because auto remove is an action argument, not a switch. Which
Yeah.
makes it a little confusing. Anyhow, we can conceivably sort out a way for people to do just auto remove on kernels.
Well, I think if you could just list the ones in that state that we have, then you can script anything you want.
Yeah.
Well, I can list it just by typing out the auto remove, and yes, that is scripted.
It's interactive.
It doesn't have to be interactive. You just feed it a.
So people are going to have to script
You
deleting
type
the
it in
kernels
and
like they
something's
do.
line direct.
Just continue.
can get that.
We can make that happen. Today, I don't know if there's an easy way to do it, but it's not hard to make it happen.
So the other thing in my experience, after you auto remove the kernels, I think you're gonna need a second auto remove for the headers, right?
No, the headers are already marked for auto.
Okay, so those would go with the kernel, so in a single
Yeah.
action.
Yeah, that's,
ATP
But
margin.
that's why
instead of
I-
having 2.8 gigs, you would have like 17 gigs if you also have the headers.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so I did an auto remove after I removed the kernels. So I removed the kernels first, and then the headers were marked.
I guess that's
Yeah,
one,
the headers are already marked on
one difference. I think that
But not until you've removed the kernels.
No, they're
all
don't depend on the headers.
Headers are actually not that interesting to the kernel. We don't install them for the kernel.
the difference is that I think the headers are auto-removed as soon as the meta package moves.
Right.
Yes.
You really need one.
Yeah, it does, you don't end up keeping headers for every thing. So we could extend this to actually do the same thing for headers as well, so they always match.
Because it could
That would actually be nice.
Which would be shiny for perhaps
build a
DKMS.
module.
It would stop you.
I mean, if we want to talk, I would love to talk about headers and DKMS and the problem there. We experience that every day. That's outside of the scope of this talk, I think.
That's what your problem is.
Okay. Let's finish this one. Let's go into that.
Well, I think we have managed.
We're basically finished. Did you write down like nice to have a tool to list what these are moving or such graph? We'll sort that out. It might just be a different ads which I'm adding. What is your issue with TKMS other than the fact that it's TKMS?
Well, it's a pretty classic and well-known problem, but when you install a DKMS package, there's no way in packaging to express the dependency that you need the kernel headers.
yeah, I can fix that.
That's what I'm going to fix.
Yeah.
The
I
best-
suppose I should have let you finish your sentence so other people knew what the bug was, but
I mean, the best I can do is print a debug message in the post-it or the pre-inst that says, this ain't gonna work,
yeah, I
you
mean,
need to go and do
the
this
reality
first.
is people who've installed our kernels via meta packages don't hit that bug because they have magic headers installed. It's,
Right.
It's
The
in
issue
a
is
weird,
you're
it's
gonna
in
have
a weird
to-
case where people have intentionally removed the headers, and now you're installing a DKMS package, and you have to magically guess what headers they want.
Can't you just
That breaks.
depend on Linux headers? Or whatever. Oh, no, because you
Yeah, because that's not always the right flavor.
You don't know what the flavor is. That's the issue.
Can't they express a dependency on the kernel headers?
No, because you don't know which headers you need, because you don't know which flavors are installed.
Right. This is a problem.
That's the
with
closest you
people-
can do, and like Adam said, if people are on the straight and narrow track, they're just fine. But
Isn't there a Linux headers virtual package they can depend on? So at least it would say you need some headers. Dick.
Well, no, he does do that. He does end up depending on some headers. It's just not always the right ones, right? And there is no fix for that because there isn't, because of the way we treat kernels. I mean, if people have installed kernel meta packages, well, if people have not removed the kernel meta packages that we installed for them, they'll always have the correct headers installed anyway. It's only if they intentionally remove the headers and then add a DKMS module that things might blow up. And I'm inclined to say they're allowed to keep both pieces. Like, it's kind of a position you put yourself in. And it's not really hard to sort out why it's broken and fix it either. If you were smart enough to remove the header package, you know what it's called, you can put it back.
It's kind of a developer problem.
Yeah. It's not
sort of,
really,
but we've
it's
got
not
paying
really a
customers
simple
that hit
engine
this
problem.
problem.
That's okay, they can pay you more to fix it.
Yeah.
Thank you for that opportunity.
So how are they getting there?
Why are they taking the headers? To save space, I mean.
I'm looking at the code that I have in the pre-inst, and I think that may.
I'm wondering, because the other possibility is it's the problem he's mentioning, where right now we expire all but the latest headers, so you could have
Sure, you wouldn't
a
get a
kernel
DKMS
additional.
module for the older kernel.
Kernel.
Right.
So it could be that they hit, which would be resolved by you doing this fix.
That's easily fixable, but the part where they remove all their headers, dang.
I think the best thing you could do would be like have some generic meta thing, which then would tell you you need some headers if you don't have.
Right, so
Well,
then,
yeah, but I mean, he already does that. He already depends on some headers. They just sometimes
Yeah.
end up being the wrong ones.
Yeah, we end up depending on Linux headers server, or Linux headers generic, or Linux headers. But that roughly gets you somewhere close to the headers you need.
don't we have a provides in the headers so that you at least know you have it? Because I thought
I think that's his last order, isn't it? It's just
Linux headers, yeah.
Well, that gives you all of them then, if it's.
Most of our customers are running
Oh, no.
Linux headers, and Linux header server is the right
You
thing
don't
to
get all of them, you
use.
just all provide to get one of them.
No, but I thought the headers provides Linux headers in it.
Yeah,
So
that's
whichever
still-
headers you get, so that is all of them, he doesn't need the previous two.
Oh, yes, he could just depend on a virtual package, although we tend to discourage that. We always.
We do, and I've never understood why.
Well, normally because we like to declare what a default is, and we like to know that if you're installing a package that depends on a virtual package, that you're going to get a deterministic result.
Oh, it's the deterministic result thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently
You'll be
we
telling
like
she
that.
tested now.
I think the place where this creeps up, not that we've ever recommended someone to do this, ever in the history of ever, but running one flavor of kernel on not the flavor that you installed.
Sure.
A server kernel on a desktop machine, the desktop kernel.
But even then, it's clear that they've installed that by not using the meta package, which means they're going to run into other issues too.
I've done both, works fine. But at the same time,
But you probably installed the header packages, and you probably put both on. We do have this problem that we don't offer a meta package that implies both.
Oh, do we no longer have the top level meta that depends on both image and headers?
We've never had one of those in the time I've been.
Oh, maybe. Well, you remember we were talking about dropping Linux because it was useless,
Maybe it should do that.
and yeah, maybe the top level one should depend on kernel and headers.
I'll put that on this one as an action on me to go and think about it.
Yeah. Well, because it's otherwise useless to have Linux generic and Linux image generic, which are exactly the same thing. But if Linux generic, Linux image generic, and Linux headers generic, then you can socialize that people should be installing that top level meta package, and it kind of solves their we have mismatched headers
it's
problem.
seed, isn't it? Isn't that this, the package in the seed?
Could we,
Yeah, I mean, we need to keep the naming unless the seeds are fixed, but maybe the seeds should be fixed.
Fixing seeds is easy.
But though the seeds should have to point to the one below because we don't have those on them.
Exactly. Fixing seeds is easy. We're good at that. It's typing.
I've added it as an option, an action,
An option icon?
an action on me.
Yeah. One of those things.
can we tell in the maintainer script if someone's installing a particular package instead of the meta package and throw up a warning that hopefully you know what you're doing, but really you should be installing this block.
People so rarely read the output of maintainer scripts, especially the kernel maintainer script, which is incredibly verbose. The odds that somebody's going to read it unless the warning is like enormous, flashing an ASCII, and has a DevConf prompt for people doing it to the desktop, and we really don't want that.
Okay. Good enough.
I mean, I'm with you that we need to highly socialize that people should be using top-level meta packages for these sorts of reasons, but
I agree it causes problems, but I mean,
it's hard to annoy them just the right amount without annoying everybody way too much.
the kernel package is such a special case in this sense.
It is. It's very special. I mean, it's extra special in that we don't even depend on having a kernel package installed because we, for whatever reason, through the history of Linux, it's made sense in the past, and I don't even know if it does anymore. We've always allowed people to run a system without having a distribution kernel package installed at all.
Well,
So
or-
nothing can depend on a kernel package.
Or you don't have a kernel package.
Right, but we can't even depend on having a package installed that claims to provide Linux kernel because we allow people to do, well, yeah, there's things that do. There are lots of reasons why, but we allow people essentially to have a system that has no kernel. So you need to really socialize with people that even though it's allowed, it's probably a really bad idea.
Maybe we should have a Linux node for Linux
So,
that provides Linux.
so one last thing I'll ask out loud. Adam and I discussed it briefly before the session. The real problem where I have this is in 1004 systems or older systems where I've got gigs, 3 gigs, 2.8 gigs of kernels built up over the years.
I
That
can't-
update a lot.
I can't guarantee how far back my bona backboard is. It's definitely, when I fix it, it's gonna go into precise. It's going to be 12.4.1.
If it'll go into precise one, then we'll see.
But yeah, if it's pretty non-intrusive and it should be, it certainly sounds like it would be. use it as well.
Yeah, I'll help with the SRE verification, whatever you want there.
The mechanism is that
Yeah. And I don't care about non-LTS, but 1004, would be really need this in 1004.
Just get everybody, to upgrade. I hear Precise is really nice.
Yeah.
It is, it's shiny, it starts with a 12.
I like that 5-year kernel. Killing that idea.
Yeah.
1404.
Are all your customers upgrading to RHF hardware?
They'll all, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I heard tell they had shipped at least 2 boxes by now, so pretty soon there'll be 4 or 5. Fantastic.
As long as 3 of them go to our build farm, I don't know.
Good luck with that.
So is that wrap? Adam has all the work items?
Yeah, probably.
I've got one, but it only says think.
While I'm making random notes,
Yeah.
you want to put an action on there for me to alias auto purge to dash purge auto remove. That drives me insane.
I'll take at least 2 action items, one that help you with the SRU backport verification at least, and
Sure.
code as well. Also, you mentioned the MOD. I can do an update MOD script that shows how many kernels,
Yeah, I think that would be
packages, number of packages that are candidates for removal.
Who tends to own those scripts? Are they scattered all over the place in fragments? Or?
Yeah, any package can put
So
a drop a
this should
script.
probably
on
be
it.
owned by whatever owns everything else.
Base files has a few of them.
Right. Well, in this case, it's apt that's owning the rest of it. So.
Okay, yeah, so it would just install a script and either symlink it into NC update modd.d or install a script in NC update modd.d. I kind of like it when it installs a link there so you can break the link. But,
Yeah.
Like I
Whatever
said,
works. That's cool. Are we drinking yet?
Or,
No, we still have one more.
wrap up.
No. We could be drinking.
We have to go watch the cheers on.
we can go and do that at the plant, right?
See?
He's already had one.
Why do you think I'm so happy?
I don't know. You're British. You're just weird. You haven't seen rain for a while, and you're really excited.
He has had more sun than usual this week.
I've had my vitamin D for the next 5 years.